In this tutorial, we are diving into the world of exterior visualization using 3ds Max and Corona Render. We'll be exporting a building we previously modeled in Autodesk Revit, bringing it into 3ds Max as a DWG file, and that's where the real fun begins. From setting up the camera to creating a light and shadow composition that feels like the Abuja sun itself in your scene. Don't worry, I'm going to walk you through it all step by step. We'll build a variety of materials. Some are going to be very simple, while some will just be challenging enough to keep things interesting. Then we will bring the landscape to life using Chaos Scatter. I will even share a few of my personal scatter sheet codes, the tricks I use to make sure the final grass looks as lush and realistic as possible. Whether you are a seasoned artist or just opening 3ds Max for the first time, this is designed to be as beginner friendly as possible. So let's get into it. Now, for this particular video, we are not going to be modeling in 3ds Max, okay, like we usually do. We are going to be exporting a model I've already done. This model, we actually did it. We modeled it together from the scratch on this channel. So if you followed that Revit tutorial, you can use the project file. If not, if you don't have this project file, I'll put the file that I'm going to export, in the description. I'll just close this for now. Let me go and export the file that we're going to be using for this particular course. So what I'm going to do is head over here to the file, click on file, go over to export. Now it's either I do FBS, export as FBS or CAD format. For the purpose of what we are doing today, I want us to export as DWG, right? So I will just click next and then save it with whatever name I desire. So I will just add export. So I'm just going to hit OK. Okay, let me just put 2 because I've exported this before. That's why that error occurred. But if I have not exported it before, you can see it has exported. Right, I'm going to close this and then open 3ds Max so I can show you how to import this thing and what to do before you even get started, rendering in 3ds Max. Right. All right, so I've opened 3ds Max. As you can see, this is a brand new 3ds Max scene that we're going to be using for today. All right, but before we start anything, okay, like I always do, we have to go and confirm that our unit setups are right. Like this now, you can see it should be in metric, okay? In millimeters. This should also be in millimeters. Okay, so we just close that down now. Let's go ahead and import what we just exported. So click on File, come down here over Import, and then click on Import. Okay, so I'm going to select Documents. Right, that is where the file was exported to. So I'm going to select and see DWG file class export to. Right, I'm going to now say OK. Right, just leave everything the way they are. Don't select anything. Don't deselect anything. Just say OK. When you do that, it is going to import the file for you. Now we are done importing the file. Now, without any further ado, I just want us to get this thing over with. What is the first thing we are going to do here? I'm going to select everything. Don't worry about it. I'm going to select everything, open my material editor, okay, and I'm going to use Corona Physical Material, bring it out, apply it on everything, okay? As you can see, it already has a little bit of reflection, so I'm going to leave it like that for now. That's it. So there are some junks that came in with this stuff like this line. It may not matter, but I like to select all of them and then delete them. Now that is a line from the grid in Revit. This is also the grid lettering and numbering from Revit. So just select one of them, right click, and then click on select similar and then hit the delete button on your keyboard, and that will get rid of it for you. For now, I'm going to leave all these other things. I'm going to leave this car. I'm going to leave all this other stuff just the way they are. Okay. I know the geometry is looking as if it's, something is wrong, but trust me, nothing is wrong. Right? So, yeah. The next thing I want us to do is to set up the camera. right? So to do that, come over here and click on this camera icon. Underneath here, you're going to see Corona Cam. So select it and just draw it like this. Don't worry about it. Just draw it diagonally the way I'm doing. Okay. Now, for me to fully set up this camera, I need to set up my viewport. Viewport is this area where I'm working. Right now, it is set to 4. If I click this thing now, you're going to see all 4 of them. But I usually work with 2 viewports side by side. So I work on this side and set my camera on this other side. So I'm going to click on this button now and then select this. If you do not have that button, you can come over here, right click. You're going to see layout. Then you see it's basically the same thing. Select the 2 viewport layout and then say okay. That's going to do that for you. Now when I come over here, I'll just hit C on my keyboard and that is going to put the camera view on this view. And the reason why that works without me doing anything special is because I only have 1 camera in this scene. In a situation where I have more than 1 camera, I might have to select the camera I want to make the view and then come over to the view, hover around it and hit the C on my keyboard. If I do not select the camera before doing that, when I hit C on my keyboard, it is going to bring out a dialog box which will enable you to select the camera you want to put in that particular view. Now let's move on. All right, so this is showing in wireframe mode. What I'm doing now basically is holding down the middle mouse button and then dragging the mouse up, okay, up and down. That is enabling me pan. What I'm doing now is called panning. I'm panning inside 3ds Max. So if you want to do that, hold down your middle mouse button and then move your mouse around. That is going to enable you to pan. But now I want to raise the camera up a little bit, which is why I'm just doing it like trying to eyeball it. But we're going to be using a definite figure in a jiffy. So now this is showing in wireframe mode. I'll just click here. You see over here, click here and change it to default shading, right? There's a shortcut for that, and that is F3 on your keyboard. When you hit F3 on your keyboard, it is going to toggle between, wireframe mode and the last solid display mode. When I say solid display mode, if this was in clay mode, right? If I hit F3, it is going to go to wireframe mode. If I hit it again, it is going to return it to clay mode. Now, if it was in default shading, okay, it's going to return it to default shading. Yeah, I think you understand that. So let me just select these lollipop trees and then get rid of them. Now let's proceed to setting this camera properly the way I want it to be. All right, so I'll just select it. First of all, I'm going to come over here. I'm not going to turn off the target this time around, and then set it to automatic vertical tilt. Now I want to position the camera in the appropriate position. But first of all, let's raise this target up. Okay. I think here is okay. We just have to take the camera back now. All right, so I'm just going to, let me select the camera again. Move it back a little bit. Oh, okay. When this happens, that means the camera is behind this wall. Let me just put it. It's behind this wall. Now I can try to bring the camera back into this compound to avoid what is going on. I want to get rid of this grid. To do that, I'm going to hit G on my keyboard, right? I'm going to hit F4 to show edges. F4 toggles on the edges of your geometry on and off, as you can see. So back to what I was saying before. So now I can take this thing back into this place just to get to see it, or I can do something, right? I can introduce a camera and environment clip that even though this camera is behind this wall, I am going to clip this camera and the environment to be able to be showing me what is behind that wall. Okay, let me just show you. What I mean by that. So when you select, with your camera selected, okay, in the modify tab, you come down here, you see environment and clipping. Now you see camera clipping. Now I'm going to enable it, okay, and then show in viewport. So it shows me where the line of the clipping is. So before I do anything, I'll just come over here to the file and add 2 zeros. What that does for us is that is going to make the file. Okay, wait. Let me just make this 10,000 and then see. That's 10 meters. You're going to see this is the file clipping. So when I'm here, you may not see it. Let me just introduce this one now. Oh no. I think this is where we need it. 2000. Okay. So when I'm here, you are noticing that we are not seeing anything because we are not really, the file clipping is not far enough. So when I extend this file clipping now, you'll be seeing more things. As you can see, you'll be seeing more things. So that is why I just make sure that, you know, by adding as many zeros as possible, that the file clipping is capturing what I'm doing, which is why I asked you to add the double zeros there. Okay. Now that we have added this, I'm going to take this back now. Take it back some more. Let me just bring it forward a little bit. We don't even need to take it back that much. The remaining, you know, adjustments we're going to make that with the focal length. Now this is at 45. I think we should just make this 35, as you can see. Now I need to adjust this camera on the other axis, right? So I want to tilt it a little bit. I'll select this and get rid of it. As you're walking, be looking at the image you're creating with this, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. So yeah. Okay. I'm just going to think that is okay. So that what that means is I'm going to bring this in some more because I can see the things that I'm cutting. You can see it here, over here too. So I'll just bring it in till I'm no longer cutting anything. Right? So I'm just going to select the target. Okay, I'm raising it up right now. Down a little bit. Now, when we start doing the, render, when we start doing the interactive render, we might still have to adjust some of these things. But for now, okay, let's set the aspect ratio, like the save frame of this. So I'm going to Shift F on the keyboard, okay? Or you can just click here. You're going to see, you're going to see it here, show save frames. Then I'm going to change this thing to, okay, it's already in custom. I'm going to change this to 3, and this other one I'm going to make 4. Right? And then I'm going to close it. Cool. Yeah, so as you can see, the entire building is now showing. Now I need to adjust this some more, just a little bit. Okay. All right. Okay. So I think this is it. Let me take a look at what I did before. All right. That was almost it. As you can see. So let me just close this right back. Now, what I want us to do is I want us to start working with our light. As far as I'm concerned, this camera is done, right? If there is any other thing we need to do, it is just we're going to be, adding, adjusting and all what's not. Let me select the camera and make sure. Okay, see, I'm going to make this camera height. I'm going to make it 1.6. I think 1.8 is too high. I'm going to make it 1.6 like so. And also, I'm going to come over here to ensure that yes, the automatic vertical tilt is on. So I am going to start interactive render so we can work with the light. For our lighting, the main lighting in this scene, we are going to be using Corona Sky, right? You can use HDRI, but for the purpose of what we are doing, I think Corona Sky is going to be okay. Okay, but before we proceed, I want to bring out the Scene Explorer. The Scene Explorer is going to help us in selecting things when we are working with our light. Like when we want to make this thing, you can see the glazing. When we want to make this thing glass, changes from this solid material to glass material, we are going to use that to select all the windows. As you can see, I just selected all the windows by just double clicking on this. Okay, it's going to come in very handy. And the good thing about exporting to DWG is when you do that, it tries to group all these things for you or in layers. So it tries to make your life a little bit easier, okay, than what it does when you're using FBS as your method of export, right? So I'm just going to use plane. I'm going to add plane here, right? So I'm going to bring it down a little bit. I'm going to set it this way, and I'm going to bring it down by 80 minus 80. Okay, I think that is cool, right? We have no business with the main road. We are just working with this scene. So let's proceed. I'm going to hit 8 on the keyboard. The 8 that is above the alphabet, not the 8 on the number pad, right? So you hit 8 on the keyboard, it brings this thing out, the environment and effects dialog box. Or you can just come over here to the rendering. Okay, you're going to see environment. Yeah. Right beside that environment, you're going to see 8. That shows you the shortcuts. So I'm just going to click on that environment and effects. If you go over here, you're going to see effect, but environment is what I want us to work on. Right? So I'm going to click on this none and then drop this thing down, open the Corona. You're going to see Corona Sky. I'm going to select it and then I'm going to say okay. For now, we are done with this. All right, so I'm going to close it right back. So what I want to do now is open my frame buffer, Corona frame buffer. But I'm going to do some settings before we proceed. Now, I want each time I'm doing rendering, I want it to be only this viewport. I don't want when I click here to make some adjustment, it will switch to this viewport. So to do that, I'm going to click here, make sure that this viewport is the viewport that is active. How do you know viewport that is active? You see this golden or yellowish, glow around it. If I click here, you see that thing will transfer over here. If I click here, you're going to see it all around. So I'm now going to click this lock button here that has locked it. So whatever I'm doing, it is going to be rendering or showing what is on this place in the virtual frame buffer. That's the Corona virtual frame buffer. Now the next thing I want us to do is come over here and turn off this denoising stuff. I don't like the way it looks, and frankly I don't think we need it, right? So turn that off and then let's start. I want to open the frame buffer now, right? So I just hit this and then see what we got. Now this is too bright. Just have to use this and then step it down, to the point where you're comfortable with it. And I'm going to stop it. Now let's go ahead and save our file because we have not saved since we started this. So I'm going to say Control S on my keyboard is going to bring this thing out for me. So I'm going to call this exterior tutorial July 2025. So I'm going to save it. So now let's proceed with our lighting. Now that we have done this, let me try my best to keep this in the scene so we'll be seeing what is going on as it's developing. So I'll close this and keep this by this side. Okay, so zoom out a little bit. So I'm going to add the Corona sun right now. So I'll select Corona sun, and then something like this. So let's be doing interactive render. So we'll be getting the update. I'm just going to come over here, change this color from realistic to, yes, to direct input, because I don't want the coloring that comes with that realistic. Okay. So with this now, I am going to make some further adjustments to the frame buffer. I'm just going to tone it down the more. As you can see, I've reduced it. So I'm going to stop this for now. And then you notice that when I open this thing, you notice that here we don't have a ceiling right here. So I'm just going to add it. You can go back to Revit to add it if you prefer, but it's just to do a plane there and then raise it up till you get to that point. So I'm just going to come over here, select the plane tool, put this in wireframe mode. That is F3, function 3 on your keyboard. Drag it from here to here, right? And then I'm going to raise it up. Okay, raise it up. I don't know. Let me see. Okay, raise it up till we get to this point. I think that is it. Yeah. So I've already set my coloring. Each time I create any geometry, any object, any primitive or line, it is going to come with this almost white color. So when I do interactive render, you may not notice that I've not applied material to that stuff. Okay, as you can see, it has covered it. But then I want to apply material to it. So with it still selected, I'll just come over here and apply this singular material that we have created. Okay, so yeah, I'll come back above here. So this is supposed to get to this other wall. So I'll just go to the asset, to the modifier tab. Go over to the modifier tab and then just adjust the width. As you can see, that has solved the problem. All right. Now, before we proceed, because the light is good enough for us to proceed, if at the end of the day, as we are working, there are things we need to do, we'll be doing them on the go. Let me also set the bloom. I'm going to put this here. I'm going to make this 8. This other 1.2. 0.2 in order to cut down the bloom and the glare intensity. All right, so yeah, the next thing I want us to do now is start bringing in trees. Okay, I'm going to attach the link to all the trees that I used in the description, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just bring them in. I'm going to pause this video and just drag them in. Okay, when I'm done dragging them in, then I will show you how to adjust the material to suit what you need to do each time you're working on any scene, right? So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, now I've imported all the trees. As you can see, these are the, let me put it in and then turn it. These are the trees we are going to be using in this tutorial. Okay, I'm going to place them where they need to be. Okay, right now. I'm going to put this one here. Okay. Maybe put this one somewhere behind. Let me see how this is looking. All right, so I am going to go ahead and add this, reduce this to 0.2, make this 2. Okay, now the green on this tree, I don't really like it. It is not bad. You can leave it like this if this is what we want, but I want to adjust it to suit the scene, the type of green I want to see in this scene better. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, let me just make it a little bit smaller. Okay, and then this one, let me just bring it where it needs to be. Okay, there's a greenery over here that I'm putting it on. Okay, just right by the car, parking lot. So yeah, it is auto saving. Whenever your 3ds Max wants to auto save, please let it auto save. Don't be in a haste, because that can save your life sometimes. So I will just leave this like this. I'm going to rotate it to see if I'm going to get anything like a more dramatic look on the tree. This is that's before we start adjusting the materials of this tree. Okay. No. Come out a little, just a little bit more. Yes. Because you want to make sure that when you are placing this tree, I would just want to explain to you the idea behind the way I place the trees I place. When you are placing this tree, you don't want it to like cover up the building. You want it to, fill up the empty space that is created. You can see that we have a lot of empty space here. Use this tree to like kind of cover it up a little bit, but don't let it, come over the building by a lot. All right, I can just shift this thing down now to make sure that I am fulfilling that. All right, so yeah, the next thing is to line up these trees just in front of there so that they can cast shadows in this compound, creating shade for the driveway. Okay, so that is what I'm doing now. Now, to be able to capture this thing properly, I might have to raise. Okay, I'm even thinking that this particular tree will be better suited for what I want to do with this other one. So let me bring it. So I just want you to see the thought process. Okay, the thought process of how I'm making my decisions. Choosing what to put, where to put them, and stuff like that. Okay, as you can see, this one has a lot of branches that is coming out and going in, creating more drama for this scene. I'm not sure that's the one I used previously, but yeah, I mustn't do this exact same thing I did the last time. All right, I mustn't do the exact same thing I did the last time. I can use this one and it is still okay. You can see the type of shade that is casting on this ground. Okay, that's not bad at all. Still letting light pass through. So this one, I'm going to bring it here. Now, sometimes you might have to raise the tree up because this tree, we are not seeing it for it to be effective. You see, when I raise it up, you can now see the shadow in this compound, but I think that might be a bit much. So I'm going to bring it down and then bring it towards this side a little bit. Yes. Now, the same thing, I'm going to do it for this one. I'm going to raise it up with, make sure the Z-axis. So it will cast some shadows on that building at that part. All right, so the same thing I'm going to do for this one as well. So we have shadows in this place right now. Now, if you want something very big, something gigantic, for the purpose of shadow, for the purpose of shadow creation, you can scale the trees up. But I'm not a fan of scaling trees up because it will mess up the leaves when viewed up close. But like I said, if you're doing it for shadow creation, that might fly a little bit. Don't overdo it. Okay, let me make this big so we can appreciate it. Okay. Now it's time for us to adjust the colors of this tree. Okay, we're not going to create all the aspect of this material all over again. No, we're not going to be doing that. What we're going to do is we'll take the part that we don't like. That is the leaf color. I personally do not like the leaf color. If you like the leaf color, you can leave it. But me, personally, I want it to be lighter. Okay, I want this green to be a little bit lighter. Let me raise this thing a little bit because it is too deep inside. I think this is okay now. Let me just do it again. See. Yeah, I think this is better now. You can see it's where it is now. So I'm going to stop this and let's bring out our material editor. Now I'm going to come up above here. You see where we are having view and just shift to the side and then right click. You're going to see create new view. Now I'm going to rename this to trees and then say okay. Okay. When I say that, it is going to create an entire new view for me to be creating materials inside. But what we are going to be doing here, we're not going to be creating a new material from the scratch. We're going to be editing an already created material, and I'm going to be showing you how. So we're going to be starting with this tree, the one in front of us. Select this tree, right? And then come over here, click on material. You're going to see get from selected. Click on that. It is going to get the materials of the selected geometry, which is the tree. Now, this is the leaf of this tree. How do we know that? Let me show you how you can confirm. Let me make this thing a little bit smaller. So I'm going to start interactive rendering from here. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select this and I'm going to hit the delete button for it to get rid of it for me. Oh, that didn't work. Hold on a minute. Select it. It actually worked, but because when you look over here, you're going to see that that green is no longer there. So that's going to show you that that is the material for the green. So I'm going to just bring in a very simple Corona physical material and then apply it to that. Now, mind you, this is a leaf material, right? So it is supposed to have some level of translucency. For us to activate this translucency, all we need to do is turn on this thin shell, right? Translucency will come on. So let's start with 0.2. Okay, if we need to increase it, we are going to increase it later. Now, what I need to do now is to change the color of this material to be the type of green that I will want. So I'm going to select it, double click it, okay? Come over here to where you're seeing color, click on that color. Now, the first thing I want us to adjust is the value. Just make it a little bit darker, just a little bit. And then let's go towards this green in hue. Okay. And then bring the saturation almost halfway. Now, when I do that, you're going to see it having effect here. But like I said, I want it to be a little bit brighter. So I'm going to increase the value a little bit. So when I do that, you're going to see that the green is actually becoming brighter and lighter than what we used to have before. Now, I want to actually make it warmer. Just take this thing a little bit backwards. Bring this one a little bit forward. Just be looking at what you're doing, okay? As you're doing it, be looking at it. Once you are satisfied with the color of the tree that you have now, you can go. You can even bring it here, and then you see the color of the tree will be like this, but that is not what I want at all. Okay, you can make it whatever color you want. So I want it to be just a little bit brighter than what we had there before. No, just increase it. Is this okay? I'll just increase it a little bit. Right, so I'm going to adjust this. I'm going to make it 0.5. I want it to be a little bit more reflective. Right, then here, I am just going to take this, the opacity. The only thing I'm going to take from this is the opacity map. Hover around here, put it in the opacity color. right? And that is going to create, cut out the leaves where it is supposed to cut it out. Now, having done this, I'm going to leave the back and every other thing the way they are. I don't really need to touch them. What matters to me most in this scene is the color of this leaf. That is what will determine the type of tree we are having. Okay, in future, I might still come back here to make adjustments to these colors that we're having here. Make it a bit darker, or desaturate it a little bit if I so deem fit. If I take it here, you're going to see it is going to be so bright. And that is not what I want. I want it to be a little bit mild. So just take a look at what you're doing. As you're doing it, be looking at it and then decide when you get there that, okay, this is what I want. So I'm going to, in fact, I think I had what I wanted the last time, so I'm just going to cancel it. So yeah, let me just see. Okay, I'll just leave this there for now. Now for this other part, I'm going to select that one and I'm going to get the material too. Right, so I'm just going to select these two. Go over here and then plug it in there. All right, so let's take a look. So this one over here, I want to make it a little bit darker because as you can see, it is out there in the sun. Let me do pan zoom. Click on this plus and then do pan zoom. So we'll be seeing the tree up close and see what we're doing. Okay, so I'll just take this and put it in there. I think that solves it. I was using the wrong opacity for that, so that made it to be a little bit scanty. Okay, so when you use the right opacity map, it is going to give you the right. Okay, it's going to give you the right tree kind of leaves, because that opacity color, the opacity color is what cuts out the leaves. So when I come over here and open it, you see the leaf shape, right, being cut out. So now let's continue working on the color. Let me set it properly so that we'll be seeing it. I'll select this and delete it. We don't need that. So yeah, let's continue. All right, so as you can see, where the green there, you can compare it to what is behind. You can see the color of this green, and you can also see the color of that green. Okay, so yeah, I for one, I don't believe in making all the trees in your scene, because trees, they don't all have the same shade of green, right? So, but for the purpose of what we are doing, I'm going to select that one behind, and I'm still going to make it that same color of green. Okay, but you can see that this green and that green are two different types of green, and it is okay, right? It is all right. There's nothing wrong with that. So let's proceed. I am going to, okay, select that, and then I'm going to get material from selected. I'm just going to do this. I'm just duplicating this same material so I can just bring it and use it where I want. Put it here. Yes. So that's it. Now I'm going to select this and I'm going to plug it inside the opacity color. And that's it as far as I'm concerned. That's it for the tree. So I can just decide to come back here and adjust the color a little bit, you know, make it a bit darker. And let's desaturate it a bit. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm going to say okay for now. Now, the next thing I want us to do is to bring in because these are pots. We have planter pots here and there and, you know, all over the place. It's just for us to position the plants in those planter pots where they're supposed to be. And this is the plants we're going to be using for that. And when we finish doing that, we might have to adjust the what is it called again? The color of the greenery, just like we have done now. You know, not for all of them though. The ones we need to do that, we will do that for them. Others, we're just going to leave them the way they are. Now they are quite big, so I'm just going to have to scale them down to the desired sizes. All right, so as you can see, when I come over here, you're going to see this is one of the planter pots. So I'm going to take this one and then I'm going to put it there. So I'm going to scale it down a little bit. So I'm going to raise it. Yes. Cool. Now for this, I'm just going to place it in this one. Yeah, so I'm going to shift this one to this side, then bring this other one, scale it, and then, you know, do the same thing I did for this one over there, and then place it. And I'm going to rotate it, you know, to create that feeling of... So now the next thing I want to do is just to select these two things and then move it over here. What I'm going to do here now is I'm going to select this, move it into this position, select the other one, bring it back here, you know, just to, you know, switch it up so it doesn't look like a repetitive stuff. You know, when you look at it and you're seeing the pattern, that is not, it doesn't help realism. You know, what we are trying to do here, we are trying our best to come as close to realism as possible, right? So that is what I'm going to do. Here, I'm just going to rotate this one a little bit too, and then scale it up just a little bit, All right. Okay. So I'm going to take this. Yeah, I'm going to hold on a minute. I want to. Okay. Right. I'm going to take this now, and I'm going to take it to the end. You know, where we have the other planter pot. That's all right. That's great. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to adjust. You can see that these ones here, they are okay. Oh, I don't have any problem with it, but I just want to tweak the color a little bit. Okay, and I want to show you how you can tweak your own colors too, if you prefer, just like we have been doing. So we're just going to repeat that process for those ones in there, right? So I'm just going to select one of them. Okay, I'm going to select this one, and then get the material from the selected geometry. That's this tree that I'm selecting now. Okay, so you just have to figure out which part of it is the leaves. Now here we are having this part. You're having this part and you're having this part, right? This, I believe, is the leaf. So to confirm, just select this and remove it. Okay, select that and remove that. I'm going to, continue with what I was doing before, just to select this, duplicate, hold down shift and then duplicate it. I'm going to delete this. Move this one over here. Now apply it into, sorry, I don't know what's going on. Yes, to number 2. When I do that, you're going to see that the green is going to come out very well, as you can see. Now I'm going to do that for the remaining other ones. Now, when you are looking at this thing from this place, you are seeing the green of the flower coming out very nicely. So I'm going to take this opacity map, this black and white stuff, to define the leaf edges properly. And then I'm going to apply it into this material's opacity color. Right, so that's going to define the leaves properly. Now for this, I'm going to select this and then select this material and apply it to it, because guess what? This geometry, what is it called again? This shrub. Okay, the geometry of this shrub and the geometry of this shrub are mapped the same way, material wise. So where this one falls in is exactly where this one is going to fall in. So I can take the material of this particular, shrub geometry and apply it to this one, and they are going to work just fine. So I'm going to select these two too, and then I'm going to apply the same material to the both of them. Now I have a green material that is, popping out the way I want it to pop out. Now I just want to move some trees around and play with some shadows and all that, and then see what I'm going to get. Right? You can do your own however you see fit. Okay, this is where you should let your intuition, play with it till you get what you are comfortable with, what you are okay with. Right, so I'm just going to bring this one in just a little bit and then shift it this way. Okay. One more. So for all these trees that we are not seeing, I don't need to adjust the color. All we are using those trees for are for shadows, right? When I put glass on this, when I put glass on those windows, they will also serve as reflection. When you are looking at the glass, you are seeing the trees that is being reflected from the other side where the camera is not capturing. So for now, we are done with the lights and shadow composition. Okay, and also we have adjusted the material of our tree. Now let's get into material creation and adjustment and all what's not proper. Now this building that is white, we're going to give it its appropriate colors. Okay, so the first thing I want us to create, I want us to start working from the windows. Okay, the materials for the windows, which is going to be a gray, a dark gray aluminum, and also a glass, normal clear glass. Okay. So how do we do that? Let me go back to view 1. This is where we're creating our materials from, normal materials. We're going to do that by just selecting this and duplicating it. How do you duplicate material? Select the material, hold down shift and drag with your left button on your mouse. Sorry, left click to duplicate it. That's what I wanted to say. So when you do that, you select it to rename this material to whatever you want. With the material you want to rename selected, as you can see, this material number 36. I'm selecting it now. You come over here, click on it. Now this is going to be window glass. I'm just going to call it glass, G-A-L. Glass. So to create a glass material, it is actually very simple. All you have to do is go over to roughness, put it at 0. That means the glossiness is at highest, which is 1. Come over here to the refraction, put it at 1. You can see that gives you glass. Now, remember I told you that because we exported to DWG, it groups these things for us. It groups everything. As you can see, this is glazing. So if I drop this thing down, let me open it very well. So we are seeing the full name of the, object that are in there. I'm opening it properly. So you can see. Now over here, you can see the mullion. These are frame mullion. Then over here, you're going to see glass. So if I should select this to this, I've selected glass, the glass part of Windows, as you can see. You can see it. So I'm just going to select this and then apply this to it. So that is going to give you glass in those places. Now, that is not all the glass we have here. Over here, we have a different kind of glass from a different kind of window. So for us to, first of all, do that, we need to understand how these glasses are named. So when I select it, you're going to see it over here. Or let me just shift this thing. When I come down here, you're going to see it where it is selected over here. So you can see other glasses that are named exactly the way this one was named. So I'll just select this from there to there. When I shift this thing, you find out that I have selected the glasses. Oh, okay. I don't think that's just the glass that I selected. Or what you can do to avoid all this hassle. Okay, because this thing can happen. Because now you can see that the mullion and the glasses are named almost exactly the same way. It's just to select one of those glass, right click on that, and then you see select similar. When I do that, it is going to select all the glasses just like that one. Okay, that is what it means by selecting similar. So I'm just going to select this glass and then apply the same material to it. Right? So let me find others. This one, select similar. I think that was easier and more straightforward. This one too, select similar. Those are the glasses. Apply glass material to it. Let me look around and see if I'm going to find. I don't think there is any other glass material here that I've not selected. Now we have cutting walls. When we are modeling this in Revit, we used cutting wall tool to model this. So it is different from the windows, the glasses from the windows. So we have to select it and then select similar separately. Okay? And then apply glass material to it. As you can see, we have that. Now I want to create a dark gray material for the window mullion, the doors, and then handrails too. So to create that, I just want a very simple one. I don't want to complicate this issue. So I'll just select this and then rename it. Mind you, I'm using Corona Legacy material for this one because in my opinion, I think this is actually very easy to create using the Corona Legacy material. And I'll be showing you what I said that. Okay, so let's first of all rename this and call this dark gray aluminium. Okay. So first of all, I want to adjust the reflection of this material, put it in 1. And then for the glossiness, I'm going to reduce it to 0.6. Let's start from there. If we need to increase it, we increase it as we go. Okay, so first of all, let me apply it somewhere. So we'll be taking a look at it while we do what we're doing. So I'm going to select the mullion from this cutting wall and then select similar. I'm going to apply this to it. Okay, let me do the same for this one. Apply. Apply. The same for this as well. So with this now, when I make any adjustment to it, we are seeing it in real time. So I will just shift this thing down to this point. As I can see, it is showing over here. But due to the reflection from the sun, the rays from the sun, it is making this look as if the gray that we are, changing this thing to is not working. So I'm just going to increase it a little bit. Let's be taking a look at it from here. Okay, you also have to understand that when you're working with material, when you're working with material in 3ds Max and Corona Renderer, light, when the light is hitting on the material, it is going to give it a different feel. So if you want the material to have a certain type of feel, you have to work with it with the light on, which is why we always set the lights first before we start applying materials to, our geometries. So I'm just going to leave it here for now, and then I'm going to change this thing to 2 to make it, you can see the way it's looking now. It's looking like a metallic kind of gloss. Okay, so yeah, that is it for now. But now there are other things in this scene that is supposed to be dark gray material, like that this grill, duct grill that we are using to cover the duct. So I'm just going to select all of them, and I'm going to select similar, and I'm going to apply the dark gray material to it. Now our door is also going to be dark gray. Okay, so I'm going to select that too. So for the door handle, I just select everything and then apply the same material to it. Okay. So here, sorry, there's still part of this door that is remaining that we need to select and apply this thing to. Now, I'm just going to leave the white that is going to be on this building is going to be this particular one that we have created here before. So I'm just going to come over here and add to it a little bit. So I'm going to make this thing 0.5 to increase the glossiness a little bit, and then tone this down a little bit, and then add a little bit of color to it, to make it warmer. Okay, and because this is the material I have everywhere, it is changing the entire vibe of this scene. But when the time comes, when we start applying the different materials we have for the floors, for this place, for this wall, for this middle wall, you're going to see, it is not going to affect it as much. So just add a little bit of warmth to that, and then say, let me just increase this brightness a little bit. Yes, I think 180 is going to be okay. And then say okay right now. So yeah, now I want to select the handrails as well. So I will select the handrail and then apply this to it. Then select this balustrade. Then this other one, I'm going to apply this to them as well. Okay, so yeah, all covered now. So we are done with the materials for the windows, and then that for the doors, the handrails, and the curtain walls. Okay, yeah, this door. Let's do for this particular door. So I'm going to apply this to it. This also, this one as well. Right. Okay, so this is supposed to be a glass. I think I've applied it to this. Okay, let's apply glass to it as well. Now I've done that. So for this area in this building, this is supposed to be made of, gray, gray material. And we're going to be creating that in a jiffy. And also that gray material is supposed to be here too. So let's go ahead and create a gray wall material. And that gray wall material is going to be a special kind of material, because it's going to have this kind of reflection. It's very simple. I will show you how to do that as well. So let me just select this and then shift. Okay, and then rename it to gray wall material. All right, to start creating this material, I want to bring in, this is the map we are going to be using for this particular video today. So this plaster material, this map, I'll just bring it in. Okay, so you know what? Let me not use this. Oh, let me not use this. Let me use the Corona bitmap. There's something I want us to look at, how to create material that is not going to stress us when it is time for us to map it. Okay, so I'm going to go over to Corona under maps, right? I will come to Corona. You're going to see Corona bitmap, right? Click on it and hold, then drag it out. When you drag it out, it is going to open up this dialog box for you to select the map you want to put in. So I'm going to go over to, okay, let me just open here, open this, and then open assets. You're going to see everyday maps. You are not going to see. Just go to where you save this thing and then open it up. Right? This is the plaster. This is the material I want to use. Okay, so I'm going to say open. Now there's something I want us to do. Right? Let me show you something. This plaster material, let me make it big. This plaster material, when I select it, you're going to see the size. That is 4096 by 4096. That is the size of this map. So what I want us to do is to maintain the real world size of this map inside 3ds Max, so that when we are mapping it, we just have to put our UVW map and then set it to use the real world size. Okay, you're going to see that. So remember, bear that in mind, 4096, 4096. So I'm just going to come over here, double click on it, set it to use real world scale, and then come over here, type in 4096 and also 4096. Okay, and I'm going to apply this into the base rough. Right. The base roughness, I'm going to keep it as 1. Okay, and then I'm going to now, wait a minute, let me just apply this material to this so that we can get started. So if I'm doing anything, I'm seeing what it is that I'm doing. So with it all selected, I'm going to select this gray wall material and apply it to it. Now, we have not changed the color yet, so we won't understand, we won't really know what that has done for us. So I'm just going to adjust the material a little bit, you know, bring it down, not a little bit, by a lot. Bring it down to this place. Okay, I think I need to make it a little bit brighter. All right, say okay. Now, as you can see the color, you can see the shade happening. You can see the reflection occurring. Okay, as you can see, you can already, when you look at this material display, you can see the reflection on this coming out, but we need to map it properly for it to come out the way we want. And for us to appreciate what we are doing, I want to make this, you know, the display, the shaded material in viewport. So when I'm looking at it, I'm seeing it. Okay, so I'm going to apply UVW map to this. That's UVW map modifier to that. And then come down here and apply real world map size. When I do that, it is going to, you can see, it has shaped it properly the way it should be. And that's what we want. So when you look at it from here, you're going to be seeing that kind of vibe. You can see a little bit lighter part. For us to appreciate this thing very well, there's a trick I normally use. Okay, I'll go into the render setup, come over here to render elements. I'm going to add an element which is a C essential reflect. And I'm going to say okay. Now I'm going to start interactive rendering again. Okay, so for us to see exactly what has gone down there, set it to reflect, you're going to be seeing it now. Okay, usually the way this thing works is that the part, the way it works is that the part that is black is going to be reflective and the part that is white is going to take away the reflection entirely. So the part, and in so doing, you have like, let's say you have like a grayscale. So the more the white, the lesser the reflection, and then the more the dark, that's the black, the more the reflection. So if you have like a gray, something in between, it is going to have like 50% reflection. I hope you understand what I'm trying to explain here. So that is the way it is. So you can see that this one has a lot of whites, which means that the reflection is going to be reduced very well, except for the part that we are having this gray. If you want this thing to be, the other way around, what we can do is select this thing, right? Select it, add a color correction map in between, and then invert it. So when we invert colors, we are going to have the thing the other way around. Right, so, and then I also need to remap it, but for the purpose of what we are doing, we don't need to do that. But you can see the reflection is very glossy here right now. Okay, so I'm just going to select this and delete it, and then add this inside there, just like we are doing before. So I'm going to put it back in beauty. Now, this is too patchy. It's showing that white too much to the point that it's interfering with what I'm trying to show here. So what I'm going to do is select this thing, come over here and reduce this. Okay, I'm going to reduce it. I'm going to make it like 40. Let's see. I'm still seeing it just the way I want to see it, but let me just make it 50 just because. Right. Okay, cool. So the next thing I want to do is copy this. When I come over here, you notice that I have UVW map here. So I'm going to right click on it and then copy it. Then when I come over here, I can paste it. Now, when I do this thing again and make this thing, you're going to see what is going on. So once I paste it, the map becomes, the right size that it's supposed to be. Okay. Paste. I'm going to do that for the rest of them. Okay, now that is it. Okay. There's one more area where we need to apply this dark gray material on. So I'm just going to select those areas and I'm going to apply it to it. Okay, there you have it. Now this middle part is going to be a special kind of brick. Okay, we are going to be doing just like we did this one. Now we're going to be doing that one. Okay, a special kind of brick. But then if you don't want to use the real world size like we have done, you want your map to be a little bit bigger because you don't like the way it is looking, you can just come here, uncheck this thing and then put the exact number you want in there. But I'm okay with the real world size, so I'm just going to leave it like that. So let's go ahead and create the second material, which is the brick that is going to be inside in between here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to select this one too, duplicate it to this side. This brick material is something I just downloaded from Pinterest. So just head over there, find the one that you like, get it. I will show you how you can use it to create, materials, just images that you found on Pinterest. You create materials that are going to be very realistic. All right. So let's get the size of this. This is 480 by 475. So I'm just going to, okay, that's the problem now. So I'm going to delete this. I want to do this with Corona bitmap. So I'm just going to select the Corona bitmap, drag it out, then select the bricks and then say, okay. I'm going to apply it to the base color this time around. But now let me remember 480 by 475. So I'm going to use the real world size. Okay, real world scale, 480, 475. To be sure. Yeah, that's the dimension. Okay, so I'm going to just head over to the place I need to apply this material on. Select it. Select the material, apply this material to it. Okay, Don't worry about the way it is looking black. We're going to adjust all that in a minute with the help of our UVW map. So to get this mapping right, all you have to do is select this thing, apply UVW map to it, put it in box, and then turn on real world size. And just like that, just like that, it's done. So like we normally do, you can now come over here, right click, copy, and then select another geometry, and then paste. When you are doing that, you are saving yourself a lot of time, and it is going to come out nice. So let me just do that quickly. Okay, I didn't actually apply this material here because it is not visible to the camera, but for the purpose of what we are doing, let me just apply it. Because now for this one, we are not just going to apply this thing and create this material only for with the diffuse map. We are also going to add a displacement map to this, and I'll be showing you how. Just stick with me, don't go anywhere. So to create that displacement map, you have to pass it through the standard color correction map, not the Corona color correction now, the standard one, the one in general. So I'm just going to bring the color correction out. Then I'm going to apply this through here and then put it through the displacement. Displace. Now, two things I need to do. I need to desaturate this thing fully, and I need to increase the gamma to 2 to make it very bright. Okay. So now I'm going to select this, and I'm going to come over here where we have the displacement, and I'm going to add 5 there for us to see what it is that we are doing. We might have to do palm zoom, 2D palm zoom, to come close and get a hang of it. Okay, you can see. I'm going to make this 15. Let's see what happens. Now it is tearing it apart. We don't need up to 15. Let me make it 8. Still too much. I think 5 it is. Then minus 5. Okay, this way we are creating both depression and also an elevation. Okay, so as it's going up, it's coming down. So when you're looking at this thing from afar, it is going to look very, very realistic. And this is even without bump. We don't need bump from that distance. But if you have the bump, if you want to put the bump, you can just take this same stuff and plug it directly to the bump. That will suffice very well. But then you have to come up here where we are having bump and then increase it to like 2 or thereabout. Okay. Yeah, that is it for this material. We are not even going to waste time on this. And then I'm going to say Control K, that's my shortcut. Or you can just come over here, click on it, and then exit 2D palm zoom. Right? Yeah. So the next thing I want us to create is this driveway. We're going to create it, and it's going to be very as simple as these other ones that were created are. But before we proceed to do that, there are other places that we're supposed to have this brick material on, like this, and this, and this, and in front of here. So I'm just going to select those places and apply the brick materials to them. So that's it. For these ones here, I am going to apply the gray materials to them. Yes. So I am going to now use the same UVW map for everything. which is why I did it in the first place. All right. So when you look here now, you're going to see the bricks, everything that I've done already there reflecting. So now let's go ahead and create the floor. To create this floor, like we normally do, I'm going to duplicate this. So I am going to call this brick. That's it. For this one, I'm going to call this pavement. All right. So to create this pavement, I am going to, the way we normally do it, bring in the Corona bitmap. Okay. I am going to, this particular one, I'm going to start it from displacement. Because as far as I'm concerned, that is the most important thing for this material, I tell you. So let me find out what the size is. This size is 1496. So I'm going to come in here and type in 1496. All right. So, yes. This one now I'm going to make it 15. Now I'm going to select the floor. And I'm going to apply this to the floor. Then apply the UVW map, put it in box, and also reward size. Now, when you look here, you're going to be seeing this. You're going to be seeing the map showing up here. So personally, I feel like this is very big, right? It's very big. So I want to reduce it some more. So I'm going to make it 0.5, everything 0.5. Let's see how that is going to look like. I think this is okay now. 0.5 is fine. Right, so that's what I'm going to leave it as. Now, the color, I want to adjust the color to suit. I want the color to be a bit reddish, right? I want the color to be a bit reddish, but on the darker side, you know, and then they saturated it, you know, a lot too. Okay, so I think I'm getting it now. So I want it to be a bit brighter too. Okay, I'll say okay. Now, there are other things I need to bring into this, right? I'll just duplicate this and then click on load map so I can change the map on the inside so I don't have to be making all those corrections. Okay, this is a normal map. So I'll bring in the normal map and then I'll pass it through Corona normal, select normal. I'll double click here and then add gamma to input. This is going to make everything better, look better. If you don't turn it on, it is going to, you know, it's not going to look nice. Okay, so with this now, we are going to have our bump showing properly. Now I'm going to increase this bump just a little bit. Let me say 2. Or maybe say 3. Okay, that is going to add some good depression to it. Okay. Yeah. I think that's okay now. Let me just adjust the color some more, just desaturate it. Cool. Now with that out of the way, the next thing I want to do now is I want to do the grass. That's a lawn area. I want to select this place, apply a material to it. Let me just start that right away. Apply this material to it and call it sand. So with the color now, I can now try and get what I am looking for. Yes, I want it to be brownish like this. Maybe like loamy soil. Okay. Now we can try to use noise. We can try to use noise. Where is noise? To add the bumps and the displacement. Now I want to see what I'm dealing with, how the size is affecting what I'm doing. Okay. So yeah. So I'm going to now remove it from here and put it in the base bump and increase the bump. That is going to give it the vibe of sand, as you can see over there. Then for this one, for the displacement, I'm going to add 5 here. Now we're having sand in there. That is going to be covered with, grass, long grass. Now, this particular long grass I'm going to attach the link for you in the description so you can get exactly that. Okay, and then follow along with this tutorial. Sorry, hold on a little bit. I think I have to adjust the color of this thing. Add some contrast to it. Oh, that's too much. Okay, so I'm gonna say okay. Let me bring out and try and add some more brightness to this scene using this. Okay, so yeah. Now I can add contrast while I'm here. Let's see 2. I think 2 is not bad. All right, so yeah. So the Is there anything I need to add? Okay, let me add this, the LUT, you know, to add a little bit of warmth to this scene. Like I think 0.4 won't be bad. 0.3, because you need to, whatever you're doing, it has to be subtle. You don't want to overdo this stuff in such a way that it is now shouting and calling for a lot of attention. As you can see, the vignette that I added now, I just made it a minor in terms of character and space allocation in the scene. So yeah. So what else? Well, as we go on, if I think of something else to add, we can go ahead and add that. But for now, let's just go ahead and add this, long grasses in this place, and also add trees. Okay, add a building in that background. Okay, so for the purpose of this, I am just going to copy. Let me open the, because I have done this before. I showed you when we were starting. I just come over here and copy. Look at the grass I'm going to use. I'm going to copy this grass, right? When I put this link in the description, when you drag it into the scene and merge it, it is going to be like this. So let me just take this one and then copy this building as well. Okay, I'll put the link to this building also in the description, just in case you want. If not, if there's a building you have worked on in the past, you can just take it and put it there. It will still do the job. Right, so let me just use Copitor. Copitor, for those of us that don't know, Copitor is a script, okay, that I use to copy, models from one scene to the other, because 3ds Max by default will not let you do that. But with the help of Copitor, you are now able to do that, and it's you can get it from You can get it from Spot. There are videos I've done on this channel where I showed you exactly how to get it and install it. Okay, if you haven't seen that video, and if you don't know how to get script and install scripts into your 3ds Max, do well to check those videos out, right? But if you know how to, I also put the link to it in the description. Just use the link, get the script, install it, and then start copying models from one scene to the other. So what I want to do now is open Copitor again and then paste what I just copied from the other scene. All right? And it is going to land here. So I'm going to move it. Where? Okay. Yeah. That's that one. So I'm just going to hide this, so I will see the building over there. Yeah, something like that. I'm going to take one of these trees again, and I'm going to put it just behind that area and raise it up so that it will be seen just a little bit. Raise it up just a little bit. Yeah. So now the next thing I want us to do, where is the, let me close this thing. Okay, that is it. Let me select it and bring it close to this place. Now for us to do this, hold on a minute. Okay, let me just apply this to that and apply it to here. All right. Now to get started using Chaos Scatter, to create our grass in front of this place, one thing I like to do is to create that grass where the grasses are needed. There's no need selecting this entire geometry and putting grass on top of them when my camera is not going to capture them. That is just going to stress my system for no reason. So to be able to do that, I create my own, geometry or spline. Now, because of this curve that we're having around here, the best for me, okay, if I'm going to do this, the best thing to use here is a spline, okay, a line. So you use it and you trace these edges to the best of your ability. It doesn't have to be that accurate. Just come as close as you can and then click it and then go around. You can make this longer, you can make it shorter, but the shorter it is, the more accurate it is. So I'm just, tracing this. And as I'm tracing it, I'm taking a look at my viewport. Once I finish drawing this spline in areas that are showing in my viewport, I'll just stop. There's no need adding this grass in areas where I am not going to see by the time I hit the render button. Okay, by the time I'm done building this scene. So we just want to focus this grass in areas that are going to show up when we actually do render. Right. So having said that and having drawn the spline, I want to bring the spline up at the surface, the surface of this lawn. So it is underneath, as you can see. Let me just show you. It's underneath. To bring it on, you can select this and select the spline, which is already selected, and select this and isolate them and try to bring it up. Let me put it on this view. You select this one now. You can see it is underneath. See where it is. So you can now decide to now start doing it, eyeballing it till you get to an area that is above the slab. This is a concrete floor that I modeled in Revit, but here it is, serving as a, sandy lawn, right? So instead of me to do that, there's an easy way for me to do this. Let me just undo. I'll just select the align to. With this spline selected, you click on the align to, which is this, and then click on this. Deselect the X and Y positions. Leave only the Z position on. On the current object, click minimum. On the target object, click maximum. It is going to take that, spline that you just created, and it's going to keep it at the top of this, floor slab. Okay. When I select it, you're going to see it. It is actually a floor slab, but for the purpose of what we are doing here, it is a sand underneath the grass. Right, moving on. So you can see that these things are divided in 3 places. You can see this and that and that. We can just select our chaos scatter, which is this, and draw the chaos scatter. Under object, you're going to see distribute on target object. This is where you select where you want to scatter the grasses on, which is this line that we just created. So I'm going to select that. Now the instance model is these grasses that you want to scatter. So I'm going to select this and then I will select these ones, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? I'm going to select that. Okay. And I'm going to make some adjustment to the settings. This is showing 1000. I want it to be showing per square meter. So 1 meter, that is 1000 millimeters. Here, I'm going to add like 5000. All right. Then I'm going to come down here and turn on edge trimming so that this trims the edges. So we don't have grasses going out of the line. So any grass that's about to go off the line, it is going to trim that edge for us, right? So I'm going to come down here to transformation and I'm going to do some setups. Here, I'm going to add -10. Okay, this is rotation, mind you. Rotation, not translation, rotation. I'm going to add -10 here, and here I'm going to add 10. Okay, the same thing here, and here I'm going to add 10. Here I'm going to add -60. You can leave this thing the way it is. It's 0 to 360, but I just want to have mine have this very unique look. Then for this particular one, I'm going to reduce this to 90 and then 100. 90 to 100. Now I am going to create another one. And the same thing I did, I'm going to add the spline. Sorry. Let me come over here, add the spline, and then add these ones. Now I can choose to, inside here, I can choose to increase the, what is it called? I can choose to increase the frequency of anyone I want. I can make this one 2, while others are 1. And that is going to adjust. Let me show you how the thing we are working on is already looking. Let me start interactive rendering. You can see the grass already showing up here. Now for this particular one, I want it to be special. I don't want it to be like the other one that we had covering the lawn, which we are going to adjust later. First of all, always turn on your edge trimming. But this particular one, I want it to be also per square meter, but then another per square 1 meter, per 1 meter square, however you want to call it. Now I want the scale of this one to be big, right? So I'm going to come down here to the rotation. First of all, let me just add my rotation cheat code. So here I'm going to add another -10, and then here 10, and then here 10. So from 0 to 360 is okay. I'm going to leave it like that. Then for the scaling, I want this to be 120 to 200. Let me restart this interactive rendering so see exactly what we're dealing with. With this already, you can see that the lawn is looking good. Okay, it's looking very nice. Okay, so I'm going to stop this now. I don't need to actually add the other third one. So the next thing I want us to do now, wait, let me adjust this. This building is not placed the way I would want to place it. Okay, I think that's right now. Okay. All right, so I'm going to bring in, the cars. Is there anything else left? I'm going to bring in the cars that I have already, simply the way we just bring in vehicles. I'm just going to use copy tool to copy from this other scene, right? I have 3 cars already placed here. And also, I think I will just bring in this stuff over here, like we have done before. When you bring them in and you don't like the way the greens are, you already know how to adjust these things. Okay, you adjust them. So I'm just going to copy these things and I'm going to paste them. I'm going to bring in one more tree as well. All these things, I'm going to link them in the description. If you can't get the exact ones I use, feel free to use a special one, like the one you have, the cars you have, the trees you have. All those things, they don't really matter. Okay, but if you want to use the exact one I used, the link, you can find them in the description. All right, so let me just use copy tool and copy these things out. So I'll just, when you want to copy, click on the copy to. Right? And then when we are done copying, I'm just going to hold on a minute, to this one. And I'm just going to bring out the copy tool again. Now I'm going to click inside here. So that's going to place these things. I hope they fall into place so I wouldn't have to do much. All right. So yeah, I'm just going to select this and I'm going to delete it. All right, we don't need that particular car over there. And then we have these three right where we want it. Okay. Yes, sir. All right. So I'm going to save now. And then we're going to do an interactive render to see what it is that we have got. Now, mind you, you can choose to put, potted plants on the balcony, put light inside the interiors, put curtains or even furnish it if you want. But for the scope of what we are doing today, we are not going to be doing all that. You can go as well as, putting light on this balcony, which is very simple to do, if I might add, putting lights on this balcony. But because of our time, okay, I'm not going to be doing all that. You can download lights and place it underneath this place, okay? Like, what do you call it? Spotlights, ceiling recessed can lights, whichever one you prefer. Put it there and then have it look very nice, right? So, but I believe you can be able to figure those ones out, by yourself, because those aren't, much of a deal. So I'm just going to do interactive rendering now. So we'll take a final look at what we have done. Then I'm going to proceed to setting, doing render settings for our final render. Now, before we proceed to doing the final production render, there are a few things I want us to address here. So I'm going to just drop this down. Okay, the what do you call it? The saturation, I'm going to reduce it very well. Okay, that means I can add this now. Let me reduce it some more. Okay, that's very good. Now, I think I can just select this and increase the height just a little bit so that that building there gets noticed a little bit more. Yes, I think that's okay now. All right, so I'm just going to stop this. Maybe drop some magenta a little bit. Let me just put that in a 0. I don't really like that. So yeah, let me just minimize this for now. And then I'll go into the render setup. I'll go over here. Make sure that this is locked. The image aspect is locked. And I'm going to type in 3000 here. Now you can make this number whatever you prefer, based on what you're doing. But it can be more than this or less than this. Just make sure that this is locked when you're typing anything inside here so that both of them will move together. So for the scene, denoising, the mode, I'm going to change it to Corona High Quality. This is the best. Like, whenever you're doing final render, always ensure that you put it in Corona High Quality, right? That is the best denoiser for you to use for your render, because this is the one that gives the least, problem, issues, that might affect your realism when you do your final render. So I'm just going to come over here and turn off this thing. And then let's come out. And that's it for the render settings. Okay, so I'm going to render now. By the time we are done, we'll come back and I will show you how to, denoise your image and then save out this file. All right, so I'm just going to make this big and then I'm going to hit the render button. Start production rendering. I'm going to hit that button. Now the rendering I've started. See you when the render is done, so we can go ahead and save out and then call it a day. Now the render is done. Okay, now let's stop this render by clicking on the stop icon. Now doing that actually started the denoising process. So as you can see, the image is being denoised. Okay, we're just going to wait for that to get done. Then we're going to save out. Now the denoising is done, but before we save, there's something I really like to talk to you about. All right. Okay, you can see the way this image is sharp now. If we turn on this sharpen and blur, it is going to blur it a little bit. But if you come over here and add 3, it is going to sharpen it. But I don't advise you use this sharpening effect because it is going to reduce the realism of your stuff. So I suggest you just, turn it on, leave it at 1. Okay, you can check what 3 looks like. But then I feel like personally, leaving it at 1 will give you a more realistic result. Or just don't turn it on at all. Okay, this is also still good. It looks like what you're going to get from an image from this distance, right? So when you go ahead and take a look at what you have done and you are satisfied by it, you can now come over here and click, save. Select the folder where you want, name it, whatever you want, right? I'm just going to name it a serial render, and then I'm going to save it out like so. Then hit the save button and then hit OK. Just give it time to save. Now it is on saving. And now we are at the end of this video. All right, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a like. And if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. Not only subscribing, ring the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future tutorials. Thank you once again for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.